I think working with a very small sum, that there is an opportunity to earn very high returns. But
Warren Buffett, renowned as the world's greatest investor, has been focused on purchasing individual stocks and outperforming the market since 1965, a feat that has been accomplished by less than a handful of investors. With an impressive average annual return of 20%, which is 10% higher than the S&P 500 over the years, Buffett has raked in millions of dollars and made his company, Berkshire Hathaway, worth a staggering $755 billion. By the turn of this decade, his company is expected to become the only investment firm worth $1 trillion. Yet, even with this impressive track record, it is interesting to note that he doesn't advocate for most people to follow his path. Instead, he advises individuals to embrace passive investing and consistently contribute to an index fund through dollar-cost averaging, claiming that even with small amounts of cash, you can make a lot over time. In this video, we aim to expand on Warren Buffett's rationale behind why passive investing generally offers the most reliable strategy for investors to achieve strong returns in the stock market. Starting with why most investors shouldn't pick stocks. Warren Buffett holds a firm belief that the majority of investors should refrain from picking individual stocks. But why would such a successful investor warn against his style of investing?
Some people are not actually emotionally or psychologically fit to own stocks. Some people should not own stocks at all because they just get too upset with price fluctuations. If you're going to do dumb things because a stock goes down, you shouldn't own a stock at all.
According to him, the most crucial quality for an investment manager is not intellectual prowess, but rather a stable temperament. In this business, one should neither derive great pleasure from following the crowd, nor from going against it, because investment decisions should be based on thoughtful consideration rather than popular opinion. Buffett acknowledges that certain individuals, when faced with price fluctuations, become too emotionally distressed. In fact, some people are not emotionally or psychologically fit to own stocks. However, he also suggests that with proper education and understanding of what investors are actually buying, a share in the business, more individuals can develop the necessary temperament for stock ownership. To cultivate such a temperament, investors must devote substantial time and effort to thoroughly understanding each business they consider. However, this level of commitment is often impractical for the average person. They work full-time and they seek leisure on the weekends. Selecting individual stocks is undoubtedly challenging, requiring not only time and dedication, but also a rational temperament. These are commitments that the vast majority of investors are unable to fully undertake and execute. Consequently, Buffett typically advises against the strategy of individual stock selection and instead advocates for passive investing through dollar-cost averaging. This does not, however, answer the question of what stocks an average investor should invest in. Which brings us to Jack Bogle and the creation of the first index fund. Jack Bogle, often credited with doing more for American investors than anyone else, made a significant impact on the investment landscape. In 1974, he founded the Vanguard Group, and a year later, he introduced the first index fund specifically tailored for individual investors, known as the Vanguard 500 Index Fund.
In an index fund, which is a great way to invest for reasons I've talked about earlier, you at low cost and all that.
This revolutionary approach challenged the prevailing investment philosophy that emphasized active management, aiming to beat market averages through stock selection and market timing. Bogle believed that the majority of actively managed funds actually underperformed the market due to high management fees. In contrast, he saw index funds as a cost-effective and efficient means for individual investors to access solid market returns. And history has proven him right. Even today, research indicates that 89% of actively managed funds have underperformed the S&P 500 over the past 15 years, factoring in their fees. Jack Bogle's vision and the introduction of index funds faced resistance from the investment industry, as it disrupted the traditional fee structure. However, index funds have consistently outperformed the majority of Wall Street professionals. Bogle's efforts have undeniably benefited investors, adding billions of dollars to their portfolios, with the potential to reach hundreds of billions over time. The core of Bogle's argument was to provide ordinary investors with a product that offered wide market diversification at low fees, enabling them to achieve returns closely aligned with market average. The new stock market product caught the attention of Buffett, who quickly became a fan of their returns. Buffett's take on investing in index funds. Implementing the core essence of index funds signifies acknowledging the belief that American business will generally thrive over a long period. However, it also involves recognizing the limitations in picking individual winners and identifying optimal timing for investments. Warren Buffett emphasizes the acceptance of not knowing enough to choose winning stocks or time the market accurately. While occasionally he may believe in picking a winner, it is infrequent. At one point, he even said, by periodically investing in an index fund, for example, the know-nothing investor can actually outperform most investment professionals. He believes that for most people, trying to evaluate every stock and categorize them as winners or losers is not a practical approach. Therefore, the crucial aspect is to invest over a long period without making significant bets on specific timing.
So if you are buying an index fund, you are protecting yourself against the fact that you don't know the answers to those questions, but that you think you can do well over time without knowing the answers to those questions, as long as you consciously recognize that.
Buffett's description perfectly aligns with the passive investing strategy. It acknowledges the inability to consistently pick winners or determine the ideal timing for investments. Passive investors, therefore, opt for market tracking investments. To overcome the challenge of timing, they employ dollar cost averaging, investing the same amount of money into the market at regular intervals. For instance, a passive investing approach could involve investing $2,000 every 6 months into an S&P 500 tracking system, or investing $500 per quarter into the FTSE 100. While each investor may have slight variations in their approach, they all share two common characteristics: investing in market tracking funds and adhering to a consistent investment schedule that spreads out their investments. By doing so, passive investors actively participate in the stock market while intentionally positioning themselves to achieve average results. Buffett suggests favoring a broad index, such as the S&P 500, when considering an index fund. However, he advises against investing all the money at once. Instead, he recommends spreading investments relatively over a 20 or 30-year period. Buffett highlights the importance of considering costs and emphasizes that low-cost index funds, like those offered by Vanguard, are attractive options. He cautions investors to be mindful of the expenses involved, since index funds essentially buy and replicate the performance of the underlying index. In Buffett's view, individuals who opt for low-cost index funds are likely to achieve better results on average than those who chose higher-cost alternatives. It is evident that Warren Buffett's endorsement of passive investing resonates with its reliability and cost efficiency. However, before concluding, I want to emphasize one more significant point made by Buffett in the video.
The best single thing you could have done on March 11th, 1942, when I bought my first stock, was just buy an index fund and never look at a headline, never think about stocks anymore.
According to Warren Buffett, the best decision one could have made on March 11, 1942, when he purchased his first stock, was to invest in an index fund and never concern themselves with stock market news or individual stocks. He draws an analogy to buying a farm and letting someone else manage it as a tenant farmer. Buffett highlights that if someone had invested $10,000 in an index fund and reinvested the dividends, the amount would have grown roughly to a staggering $50 million. The remarkable aspect of this approach is that back in 1942, the only belief required was that America would emerge victorious from the war and continue progressing, just as it had since its founding in 1776. There was no real need to worry about selecting specific stocks, timing the market entry or exit points, or the existence of entities like the Federal Reserve. Buffett emphasizes that America's history of progress and the resilience of its businesses are the greatest advantages of the passive investing strategy. This strategy has consistently delivered reliable results for investors over time. As mentioned earlier, the S&P 500 has achieved an annual return of 11.88% since 1957. The remarkable aspect is that investors embracing passive investing did not have to engage in extensive analysis or dedicate substantial time to reading financial statements. They don't have to watch financial news networks or perform complex cash flow analysis or spend weekends studying or listening to earnings calls. As Buffett points out, all that was required was faith in the continuous forward movement of the American economy and its businesses. In fact, for passive investors, paying less attention tends to yield better outcomes. This brings us to the significance of long-term investing. While Warren Buffett emphasized the importance of market diversification and regular investments, he also highlighted the necessity of applying these principles over an extended time frame, typically 20 to 30 years. This is one of the primary challenges of passive investing, committing to the required length of time for the strategy to unfold.
Yeah, I would say that in terms of the index fund, I would just take a very broad index. I would take the S&P 500 as long as I wasn't putting all my money in at one time. If I were going to put money into a index fund in relatively equal amounts over a 20 or 30-year period, I would pick a fund, and I know Vanguard has very low costs. I'm sure there are a whole bunch of others that do. I just haven't looked at the field.
It is important to note that although some passive investors may claim to collect a consistent 10% return every year, this notion is not entirely accurate. While the strategy has historically yielded an average annual return of around 10%, the returns in any given year can vary significantly. For instance, there may be years with a negative 20% return, followed by years with returns of 27% or 16%. As an illustration, suppose an investor began employing the strategy in 2008. After the first year, their expected 10% return would have been a negative 38%. Therefore, in order to achieve a stable return, it is vital to commit to a sufficiently long-term period, allowing dollar cost averaging to even out and align with the market's long-term average annual return.
I think it's the same thing that makes most sense practically all of the time, and that is to consistently buy an S&P 500 low-cost index fund, keep buying it through thick and thin, and especially through thin.
Nevertheless, it is undeniable that passive investors who genuinely adhere to a long-term perspective have historically performed exceptionally well over time. Despite short-term fluctuations, those who commit to a long-term time horizon have reaped significant rewards. But there are still risks to keep in mind. The risks of index funds. It is essential to address the risks associated with any form of stock market investing and clarify that this video does not serve as a recommendation to purchase specific investments. One significant risk is market volatility, which exists even when investors maintain a diversified portfolio. Additionally, notable investors like Michael Burry express concerns regarding index investing, suggesting that it eliminates price discovery in stocks. As a result, the market caps of stocks are no longer determined by the underlying performance of the businesses, potentially leading to the formation of a bubble. Another aspect to consider is that index funds are designed to invest in the largest companies within a particular market. However, if an investor holds an index fund, tracking, for instance, the largest 500 stocks in America, there is a possibility that some of these companies may not align with the investor's personal values and beliefs. Thus, it is crucial to thoroughly consider such factors before identifying oneself as a passive investor.